Morning, y'all, and happy Taco Tuesday to you. I'm going to be talking about the tariffs that are going to be in effect here on the 29th. My supplier, they've kind of paused their end of shipping things out until the 29th. They got to sort some things out. Obviously, I got to sort some things out. Talking to my supplier last night, so you're looking at a 15% tax plus a 3.5% customs fee. So ultimately, there's an 18.5% tax with the tariff for any items coming from Japan. So, and that's only on the value of the item, not shipping cost as well. So you pay $700, and with shipping you come up to $800. You're only going to pay that 18.5% on the $700 that the item is worth. So at least that kind of alleviates some of that price cost difference I was worried about. I got Black Ship and Zenmark and all those other things, and they've been sending emails the last couple days letting people know that, hey, there's a pause until we kind of see how things sort out. Still most reliable shipping, DHL and FedEx, but it was good for me kind of hearing that, hey, it's only on the value of the product, not including shipping. So that kind of helps some things out. For me now, it's just trying to figure out how I can divide things up into a fair price without going crazy, with pricing. For me personally, I'm taking a pause for a couple days, maybe a week or two, just to kind of see how the market plays out. Watch TCG player, see if anything happens with the executive order. What I don't want to do is order something, pay a tariff, executive order goes away, and it totally changes the market. So I think it's a wise move for me as a small business to kind of take a small pause, see what happens, see if the executive order gets changed, see what prices change in Japan, see what prices change on TCG player. Typically I try to be below market. Might be difficult now due to the tariff, but that's the goal still, is try to be $5 below market price. That's what I'd like to do, but I think it's gonna be a little difficult now with the tariff in place. But hopefully, 29th of August, still a couple days away. I'm gonna take a pause, make sure things make sense, do some logistics, make sure it all makes sense at the end of the day. I know it's going to be a culture shock to some, because hey, prices are going to go up a little bit. Being a small business, I'm not like Pokey&E or anything, so it's it's a little bit harder for me to cook prices into certain things. But I'm going to try to do my best to stay alive. The last 6 months, I've been working really hard and trying to keep this thing going. I don't want to tap out. Yes, prices are crazy. It sucks that price for Japanese booster boxes is going to go up. It's already very difficult to get English product at a fair price or a decent price. Market's market. If you want it, you're going to buy it. It's relevant. You watch all the YouTube people are paying those prices. And it's difficult. Because I'm a collector. I like to open packs. Me and my kid open packs, so it's difficult. The biggest thing is making sure I can get my kid stuff too to open, and he enjoys it. It's a hobby. He enjoys it. Every Pokemon card to him is the greatest Pokemon card ever, as it is very difficult to find products at MSRP. I haven't been lucky with any of the Costco drops, because anything I get from Costco, Target, whatever, that's what my kid opens. Things are going to be put on the website or my personal collection items. My goal is to be, 80, put it up there for like 70%, 85% market value. So you're not putting a full market value. I think that's fair. It helps boost the business. It helps logistics for me to get more Japanese, because ultimately the goal is one day distribution, Probably not anytime in the near future, but that's the goal. And see what happens. Like I said, I'm gonna keep on going. Been doing this over 6 months. This is where most people tap out. It is difficult. It's not easy. Small little gains always help out with the business. The website's up and running. Please check it out. 904 PokeJacks. I guess I'm gonna start stocking that sucker up more. Get the word out. Let people know who I am, and start shipping to all the states. Jacksonville's taking care of me, but now it's time to put some more effort into the website and getting this stuff out to the folks so people know who I am. The brand's real. I put stuff on TikTok, Instagram, on here, and then people know, hey, I'm legit, not a scammer. There's a bazillion of us, but I'm in it to win it. Being military, dedicated, got a lot of pride. I want to take that to the next level with 904 PokeJacks as I approach retirement. Definitely still thought of one day, maybe not now, owning an LGS. Definitely not the time. Not the time for the market, but with a website, doing what I can, and building that rapport and that brand. That's the goal. Sometimes it is difficult right now with the military. I get underway still. I still do my job. A lot of the stuff I do is super late at night. I come home, take care of the family. Got kids. Got two sons. My wife. I've owed them a lot in the last 18 years. My wife specifically has moved and bent over backwards for me. I've been in the Navy almost 19 years, and every bit of it until this point has been on a sea command deployable, done multiple deployments. But way off subject. But yeah, I received my last Tariff free boxes last night, and they'll be going out today, and then take the pause and figure out where I'm going to go from there with pricing. Like I said, I think the biggest player in the role is what is Japan going to do with their pricing, because we know their MSRP is typically around the $49.99, right? And they're marking it up $69.99, $79.99, $89.99, whatever. And it's a small margin with Japanese. Like, I make $1 to $5 a booster box. Like I said, I don't usually charge market price. I take what I get, divide everything up by how many boxes, see how it lines up with marketplace, and that's how I determine my price. But see what happens. I'm gonna be a change. Definitely a little nervous, a little stressful, but it figure it out, make it work, and keep the show going. Hopefully that initial culture shock goes away. There is a demand for Japanese Pokemon cards. There's people that specifically collect Japanese Pokemon cards. I even open them and collect them. Love their quality is top notch. So compared to ours, sometimes our products are with Pokemon are hit or miss. Sometimes you get a really good print run, sometimes you don't. It is what it is there. But appreciate y'all. I know this is a little long. Please continue watching the videos. Keep building. Keep helping. Subscribe. The more you guys put in, the more it helps me give back to y'all to make this work. That's the goal, is to make this work and offer more to the folks out there, and help build 904 PokeJacks to help provide fair products to everybody. Like I said, the market's market, and older stuff, yep, definitely probably going to sell a little bit more, but we'll go from there. Y'all have a great one, and have a happy Taco Tuesday.